Who can afford to drive a gas guzzler like this with gas prices going up, tax, and then of course just inflation taking over? You can't afford to drive a vehicle that uses heavy fuel consumption. A vehicle like this is almost cost prohibitive for anybody on a budget trying to get by. I'm going to share a list of some of the worst gas guzzling vehicles in modern day history, and hopefully it helps you make the right decision if you can't afford to pay the piper at the pump. Let's get into it now. Life's too short to drive boring cars. One vehicle that's a real serious guzzler is the Ford F-150 Performance Roush F-150. Horrifyingly brutal for fuel economy. Yeah, a lot of fun with well over 600 horsepower. It goes like the dickens, but you know, unfortunately, a pickup truck's intended to be practical and versatile and usable for every day, but with the fuel economy that you'll get in a modern day Roush F-150, you're gonna think again about even wanting to turn the key to the ignition because it's gonna run you in the poorhouse. These trucks are so bad that you can get about 11 miles to the gallon in the city, which is horrifying. It's up there with the Bentleys and the Lamborghinis. You can maybe get up to 15 miles per gallon on the highway, which definitely isn't awe-inspiring. That's in itself enough to choke a horse. And then you can get a combined fuel economy, city and highway, of course, about 13 miles per gallon, which is clearly way too much fuel consumption to even consider buying, unless it's literally just your Sunday driver. But to use a Roush F-150 Performance like this is going to typically clean out your bank account. Yeah, even though you've got some great headlights and the typical Ford packaging, yeah, there you go with the F-150. Yeah, you've got the great mirrors, fun interior that's fresh and feisty, although slightly basic and cheap like a tackle box. It does have beefy handles and a pickup box bed that just makes it easy to throw some junk in the trunk. This Ford is typically designed to keep you in the poorhouse. Another one that's typically a gas guzzler that's going to keep you also in the poorhouse is this little hot rod here. And why is this so bad? Well, first of all, it's a full-size SUV and it's basically mounted on a truck chassis. And of course, in all their infinite wisdom, Nissan isn't necessarily known for the best fuel economy. They were just trying to build something that was competitive with the modern day upsize full-scale trucks. Toyota Sequoia had an example. Some of those full-size import vehicles had the capacity to haul. And so Nissan came out with something like this. And what are we talking about here? Well, this thing's so big, I got to stand 100 feet back just to fit it in the camera view. But what is this? Well, first of all, it has a V8 engine, of course, so it's going to be thirsty. It has cheap Pep Boy type vents like this. Look at this stick away, peel away type chrome here, cheap like borscht. Massive size and girth in terms of its overall roof racks. Very large and in charge. Running racks for virtually everybody just because it's hard for anybody to climb into this behemoth. It's so massive. Of course, a giant hood, V8 tucked under that hood there. And of course, you do have some little styling detail like that and a great set of headlights. Almost looks like the Ford Exploder style headlights. And again, it's Nissan, as I mentioned, very large and in charge. As you go down, you have chrome detail on there all the way around. Circle back and you see, of course, we've got some great little taillights. This is a platinum version, so loaded up, and it's a Nissan Armada. Look at the size of this thing. It's massive. You could literally park this Range Rover Defender right in the back of that. There's also mega space in this cabin. While it feels luxurious, you're gonna feel like a king, or at least you'll have to have the bankroll of a king just to afford to keep this thing fueled up. And these Nissan Armadas, you can expect to get about 18 miles to the gallon if you're lucky on the highway. That's if you turn off the ignition and coast down a long hill, or as little as 13 miles to the gallon in the city, averaging out about 15 miles to the gallon, again, blended. So not good fuel economy. It's thirsty. You're definitely gonna hesitate and regret every time you turn that ignition switch because you can smell and watch the $100 bills pumping out the exhaust of this vehicle because it's so thirsty and heavy on fuel. Now, if you need a full-size truck, it may be an option, but at the end of the day, if you want to do a serious pulling, maybe look at a diesel pickup truck. The next unit on our list that's really, really difficult to own unless you own shares directly in Mobil 1 and you can actually pull dividends regularly to fuel this unit up. Now, we all know that Lexus is ruthlessly reliable, so that's not the question. They're reliable, dependable, they're strong workhorses, they tow like there's no tomorrow, especially with the V8 engine like you see under this hood here. And what we're looking at here, Cold is a slightly older Lexus. Of course, it has more projection style lights, beautiful wheels that these Lexus have, fold away mirrors, and of course, the big chrome handles there. Step boards, because this vehicle is quite large, you're going to need that to get a lot of access to get in there for smaller people. Of course, big running rack on top and his big bulbous back end on this thing. It's basically a lot like we're finding in Infinitis and the Nissan Armada. Of course, big bold taillights and the LX 570. Yeah, you can tow a ton and a half with this, but it is large and in charge, and that's the problem. It pulls so much fuel and pumps it out the proverbial tailpipe right there. Very similar engine that you're finding in a lot of other vehicles, the Toyota Sequoia, for example, as well as the Toyota Tundra, comes equipped potentially in some generations with that 5.7 V8. Now, a lot of people love that engine. It was ultra reliable, durable, workhorse, get tons of miles out of them, but they are a little thirsty, and that's always been the debate. You can expect 12 miles per gallon in the city, 16 miles to a gallon on the highway if you're lucky, and about 14 to round it off as an average. So it's definitely a thirsty truck. It's going to be tough to keep this vehicle filled up in today's climate with $2 or more price per liter, of course, for regular gasoline. It's just getting cost prohibitive. Another one that's a great contender for some of the worst fuel economy, and again, it pains me to say this because Lexus is such a durable, reliable vehicle brand. There's always a flip side to everything, I suppose. What we're looking at is a GX 460 by Lexus, but let's take a closer look. Yeah, you got the great wheels there and a stepping boards, because it is a fairly large vehicle too, not quite as large as the LX, but it's large and in charge. A great detail there. Of course, you got chrome handles all the way along, beautiful mirrors, beautiful sunglass on top, as well as headlights galore, and the big chompers right there. Yeah, it has that very versatile look and design. It's very vertical. So in other words, you can maximize your storage space in this vehicle. And the interior is quite nice too. Lots of leather. We've got heated, cooled seats and some modern equipment that makes this vehicle feel very current, as well as has all the luxury that you could ever ask for in a modern day SUV. Sadly, 12 miles to the gallon in the city, 16 on the highway, meaning about 14 combined miles per gallon, and this thing is a bit of a guzzler in the GX 460. And the next one on the list for absolute gas guzzling capability goes to this Dodge product, and it's an SRT. But what are we looking at here? It's obviously a Challenger. If anybody's been around long enough, you can see we do have the big tailpipes here, but you'll notice, look at the rear tires, and that's a big reason why this vehicle is so heavy on fuel. Yeah, it has some great things, and if you have to have one of these, you definitely have to have it. There's fuel, and of course, that thing is going to wear out because you're constantly putting fuel in this vehicle. Yeah, the interior feels like a Glad garbage bag wrapped up over some foam, and there's not even a sunroof on here. The handles feel fairly cheap as well, and the mirrors are trying to look retro. Look at this little hood here. We've got a matte finish on there. And of course, we've got the great front end on there. Why people even buy these, because they get such horrendous fuel economy, is simply because this is what that is. What is it? That's a Hellcat. That's right. It's a Challenger Hellcat. In other words, makes tons of horsepower and even more torque. It's nothing to light up the back wheels and make this kitty purr. This thing moves like there's no tomorrow, so that's why people buy them. The sad reality is 13 miles to the gallon in the city and 21 on the highway. Average is only about 15. And if you're looking for fuel economy, you won't find it here. If you're looking for supercharged V8 fun and frivolity, that's what you'll find here instead. The next one, that's a really guzzler and almost anybody can afford, but the question is, do you really want to? 475 horsepower, 6.4 liters, V8 engine, lots of power. Oh, absolutely. But can you afford to keep filling this hungry animal? We have these great little nose vents on the hood. Looks like a smiling face until you have to show up at the gas station to fill it up. Down here, it has these rocker panels because you're probably going to need all this aerodynamics just to keep this thing, minimize the abuse that you take at the fuel pump. Of course, we're looking at right here, this cheap little back end on it, and it's a Durango, as I mentioned, and the RT specifically. Yes, you can tow some weight with it, and yes, it has lots of room to haul. And yes, it looks like Fisher-Price and Tupperware had love children, and this is what they produced. So these are horrifyingly poor on fuel, from 13 miles to the gallon in the city up to about 18, 19 on the highway. Gives you a combined about 15 miles per gallon. Not acceptable by today's terms when you can easily get a performance luxury Eurowagon that puts out 25 miles to the gallon and 500 horsepower. So this doesn't really cut the mustard anymore, become obsolete. And quite frankly, if you have to have one, I get it. And while we're looking at the RT here, ultimately the SRT with the big pony 6.4 liter is the car that you just can't afford to fill up on a regular basis. Well, then there's another one that's literally so brutal on fuel efficiency. It's not this version. What we're looking at here is in fact a Grand Cherokee, of course, but reality is it's the Trackhawk edition, specifically, which has 707 horsepower, takes the engine straight out of the Dodge Demon, or Dodge Hellcat, if you will, and they shoehorn it into this SUV. It's blistering acceleration, one of the fastest cars if you want to get down to the track in a straight line and beat everything else there. Absolutely, you'll do it with the Trackhawk. But with that 700 horsepower, large supercharged V8, you're guaranteed going to consume a lot of fuel. And yeah, the Grand Cherokees have always had a real nice style to them. A lot of people love them because they're a good mid-size SUV. Yes, they have some great LED headlights and that really beautiful grille. That's telltale Jeep, of course, as we see right there. We do notice a couple of nostrils on the top, but specifically the Trackhawk has even beefier tires, beefier front nose. It definitely has bigger brakes on it. Then this definitely looks quite sharp and quite entertaining as an SUV as a whole. And yes, it's the Jeep, so people buy them anyhow. They'll always sell. For some reason, the Jeeps always sell. Again, we have one pipe and two pipes on the back, so it's a great design theme. It looks wonderful. The interior is half decent, if not slightly embossed with plastic galore. There is a little bit of leather in the upscale versions of the Jeep Grand Cherokee. It also has glass on the roof and a little roof rack to haul all kinds of junk to the dumpster. But unfortunately, that Trackhawk only gets abysmal fuel economy. And unless you really need to go fast in a straight line, I'd suggest maybe look at one of the lower end models if you're looking for fuel economy, because the Trackhawk has 11 miles per gallon on the city. Of course, you're gonna get about 16, 17 on the highway. And unfortunately, only a combined effort of about 13 miles per gallon all over. And that's if you're just feathering it and coasting it down the hill, throwing it in neutral and let it just glide to the bottom of the hill. These things are guzzlers galore. And as I say, if performance is your game, yes, can't be beat. Other than stepping into a Lamborghini Urus or a Porsche Macan Turbo or a Cayenne Turbo S, those vehicles are on par for performance. But ultimately, if you're looking for fuel economy, the Trackhawk is not your game. And here's the next vehicle with horrendous fuel economy. Well, that's not entirely true. What we're looking at here is actually a Toyota, and it's a Tundra. But this actually is the newer version, and this actually has a twin turbo V6, which actually has an improved fuel economy. You can also get a hybrid version of this, which pumps down the power, and it's much more efficient and more technologically advanced. It's a much more precise engine and gets a little better fuel economy while doing it. I mean, but it's the outgoing Toyota Tundra that is the culprit for heavy fuel consumption. Now, we do have a great grille here. As you can see, all Tundras are typically built on a full-size truck chassis. That was the point of why they came along in the first place. Yeah, they always have alloy wheels, and Tundra has some great design, some beefy handles, as well as lots of space in both the front and the back. You do have full-size cab capability as you would in a Chevy or a Dodge, basically like those full-size trucks over there. The Tundra has always been a popular workhorse. You can tow things, haul things, step on things. The outgoing Toyota Tundra has the infamous 5.7 liter V8. It's naturally aspirated. It's a workhorse. You'll get 300, 400, 500,000 miles if you can afford the gas along the way. Do the quick calculations on that. But they are fuel hogs. Yes, reliable, affirmative. Hogs for fuel, yeah, they're not going to be the best, most fuel efficient engines. And as a note, I have to make mention that if you're gonna get into one, you definitely probably wanna look into this vehicle over the outgoing if you're looking for fuel economy. How much does the outgoing one get? Well, you can get about 13 miles per gallon in the city, like on these city streets, or you can get about 17 miles per gallon on the highway if you're just coasting along. As well, you can expect an assumed all-in version of about 14 miles per gallon. If you're splitting duty cycle of driving between city, freeway, and highway, it's not great fuel economy. You would expect that kind of mileage from the old Chevy and Ford big block engines, and yet this doesn't provide the same torque and the same value that some of those older domestic products do. Now, what you do get is the trade-off, again, as mentioned, is the reliability. So if you want the 5.7, know that you're gonna ante up and you're gonna pay the piper on the poor fuel economy. But again, I'd have to recommend, if you need to have the Toyota Tundra, go with the latest generation with the turbo V6. The next one is the good old boy next door. It's the Performance Stage 3 Roush Mustang. And what we're looking at here is exactly that. It's a hot rod. Everybody loves the way these cars perform. They're fun and frivolous. Yeah, you got the newer style headlights, and yeah, you have a very aggressive front spoiler. How about the little vents on the hood? As well as some great flair at the back. I love this very aggressive look. It cycles around and you have this great little rear spoiler. This is based on the GT, and of course that means it's got the V8 and it's got those great retro style taillights. Of course we have beautiful Mustang type wheels right there, nicely finished. I noticed the brakes are a little small on the back relative, and the brakes are a lot bigger on the front here. Now those would all be upgraded with the Roush Performance Stage 3 as I mentioned, but what's not upgraded is the interior, which is marginal. It's typical for domestic products, although it does leave a little something to be desired. But every time you start adding performance to some of these V8 Mustangs, you start to have to draw down on the fuel economy. And as a result, what you will expect to see for fuel economy on the Roush Stage 3 is about 12 miles per gallon in the city, like down these little crusty roads, or in fact you can get all the way up to 18 miles per gallon on the highway, which gives you an average of about 14 miles per gallon in total. Now remember, some people find the trade-off adequate. With 710 horsepower on that Stage 3, it's going to be nothing short of breathtaking. That fun and the pulling gears with that V8, it's going to be nothing but exciting. However, that will come at that cost. Fuel economy ultimately. And of course you might start breaking parts too, because you start putting more power through the gearbox, through the engine, through the rear drivetrain. You might start breaking pieces, and of course then you have yourself a very costly venture. But again, if you have to have it, you have to have it. The next one is this ginormous truck right here. And obviously you can see it's a Toyota, and it has that beautiful fandangulous grille right there. Yeah, it has the latest LED headlights. This is obviously a late model version. It's very pretty, very reliable, very truck-like, and it can haul a ton. Yes, look at a lot of the little detail in the front. Much nicer than some of the older chrome trucks that you see in the domestic market. Of course, you have beautiful wheels here by that Toyota. It's nice aluminum alloy. Of course, it's great. Also ginormous. You can haul a ton of weight up there. Look at all that on top. Oh, nice real estate galore. You could build the top of a penthouse suite up here. You can just all kinds of room on the top. Of course, you do have, this is the Platinum Edition, and you've got chrome door handles here and chrome accents along the side of the vehicle. It's a glorious looking unit all the way around, has a very beefy looking hood, and of course there's a V8 engine under there. And that's part of the reason these vehicles are such gas guzzlers, because it's the infamous 5.7 liter V8 engine that you also find in the Tundra, you also find in the Lexus LX 570, and it gets horrifying fuel economy. How about 13 miles to the gallon in the city, or about 17 miles to the gallon peak on the highway, averages out in a roundabout way about 14 miles to the gallon. Again, you're in Lamborghini Aventador territory, you're Lamborghini Urus territory, you're in Bentley territory. So it doesn't get great fuel economy. What it does do is give you a luxurious ride, plus reliability is never gonna let you down, and the infamous Toyota build quality that's just going to mean this thing will run to 300,000 or 400,000 miles. And with all of that said, check that out. You're going to love that. How about some of the most reliable vehicles on the market today? I think it's going to help you make that right decision. Hope to see each and every one of you on the next one. Oh, by the way, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and then we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Wheels here by that Toyota. It's nice aluminum.